Unlike us, who waste all of our wheat in anti-aging creams and other ancestral Sioux techniques to stay young, certain animals show an incredible resistance to time, up to a point where it would seem they're completely immune to it, almost rendering them immortal. We will focus today on 10 animals that are impossible to kill. The giant African snail. It's a species of giant snail native to East Africa. A first look would make us think that we're dealing with a pretty normal snail, but the size of this mollusk, which is a member of the gastropod family, can reach up to 30 centimeters long. Could you imagine that this animal is very hard to kill? Well, it is. In certain regions of East Africa, this strange mollusk is considered a pest. This animal's greed leaves farmers helpless, as it is considered one of the most destructive snails in the world, leaving crops devastated. Various pesticides were used in hopes of its eradication, but those effects deemed fruitless as other predator species were eliminated, leaving a clear path for the giant snail and its need to consume. In a desperate attempt to finally clear this menace, farmers had to employ the use of flamethrowers. It's not even funny at this point. Fire is really necessary to kill this threat, which is reminiscent of the popular internet expression, "kill it with fire," and would be the appropriate thing to say in this case. Nonetheless, these attempts were not enough to get rid of the giant snail. Do you know how us humans got to solve this problem? Well, to put it simply, there was nothing we could do. Water bears. Surely you would think we're talking about a bear like this one, but no. Water bears are much smaller than those you imagined in the first place, microscopic to be precise. They owe their name to the slow, bear-like pace in their stride, and also their resemblance to the weirdly shaped gummy bears. Their scientific name is tardigrada. Known as one of the most resilient animals, this creature can survive extreme temperatures, ranging from the near absolute zero temperature of -270 degrees Celsius to as high as 350 degrees Celsius. Additionally, he can withstand weather and climatological conditions that are 6,000 times rougher than those found on Earth, which makes this little critter the only animal capable of surviving in outer space. Did you know that water bears can receive doses of gamma radiation that would be otherwise deadly to humans? Still not impressed? Well, water bears are not impressed by you either. They can live up to 200 years, in which they could spend 10 of those in an environment completely devoid of water and air. This incredible feat of survival is achieved by entering a deep status state called cryptobiosis, which makes him quite adept in surviving the harshest conditions. In a nutshell, the tiny animal can not only survive extreme temperatures, dehydration, and pollution, but also ionizing radiation and deep space conditions. Oh, and did we forget to mention that they can also hibernate up to 30 years? Mimic octopus. The mimic octopus, or Thaumoctopus mimicus, has exceptional transformation capabilities that puts to shame the already impressive chameleon's camouflage skills. In addition to their ability to change colour, mimic octopi can also shapeshift and imitate the movement of other species without any problem. This contortionist animal is capable of mimicking the appearance and behaviour of more than 15 species, which includes flatfishes, jellyfishes, sea snakes, and giant crabs. An act of perfect disguise that gives him the upper hand in hunting prey and avoiding predators. The giant weta. While it's possible that this is the first time you hear about this species, giant wetas are ancient. It is believed that they've been around for 180 million years. This insect, measuring 10 centimeters long, not including legs and antennae, hides in its hole all day just to go out at night and eat dead or injured insects, certain plants, and decomposed plant matter that lie on the forest soil. Similar to water bears, this species is capable of entering cryptobiotic status in order to endure harsh weather conditions. While in deep status, giant wetas show no vital signs, as if they were really dead. Even more impressive is the fact that their brains and hearts are completely dead. By using an unparalleled method, the giant weta can effectively resurrect and come back from the dead. Therefore, you will never find a method to get rid of these creatures, but to wait 5 years and let their natural aging process do the job for you. The African lungfish. In Africa, there's a fish capable of entering a hibernation state, which allows him to spend 5 years without eating or discharging any kind of waste. The lungfish's exceptional abilities have attracted the scientific community's attention. Why, you ask? Studying such a specimen could lead to enormous medical breakthroughs that would put us a step closer towards human biostasis. That is, to completely stop our biological processes. The lungfish's peculiar ability comes into action in times of severe drought. The lungfish buries himself into the African mud and stays in hibernation until the coming of a more favorable weather conditions happens. While it's in its deep sleep, this fish secretes a liquid that allows him to create a cocoon to keep itself safe from any danger. During this phase called estivation, the organism's genes responsible for waste destruction are very active. This hampers the liver's buildup of harmful waste and thus eliminating the need to discharge. By contrast, those genes responsible for the thickening of blood deactivate. This results in a decreased resistance of this animal's blood flow and effectively reduces energy loss. The Deloid. This organism extracts energy and steals the DNA of other species that surrounds it in order to stay alive. But as if immortality wasn't enough for this small creature, cutting off its head only results in the formation of a brand new one. Without water, it can resist up to 9 years and can withstand 100 times more radiation than humans. Although the thought of a Deloid being exposed to such levels of radiation is really disturbing. Carps. This family of fish is extremely popular in certain regions of Asia, and not because of their meat, but for their ornamental value instead. This colourful fish are all the craze for certain collectors. They're a symbol of love and virility. What's impressive to know is that these creatures can live up to 200 years, which is as much as Hanako, the world's oldest known koi fish, who admirably died at the age of 226 years. The Hydra. Before your brain starts to wander off, let's keep things clear. We're not talking about the Lemmian Hydra, the mythological beast which had the ability to grow new heads to replace the chopped off ones. The hydras we're referring to are small aquatic animals that possess tentacles and bear a small resemblance to sea anemones. If not sure how it looks, just picture a minimum version of the Kraken. Hydras would be pretty boring if it weren't for Deadpool levels of regenerative power. Even when cut into tiny pieces, it's still capable of reconstructing itself completely. This is why Rebecca Helm from Brown University, a marine biologist and jellyfish specialist, gave it the Animal Kingdom's Dr. Manhattan title, in similar fashion to John Osterman, who reconstructed himself atom by atom. The Hydra can survive the most extreme deaths. To see their true power, all you have to do is blend a Hydra to hamburger meat and swirl the puree to the bottom of a bowl. Slowly, the disembodied pieces will begin crawling together, rising like tiny volcanoes from the sea of shredded remains. Forms will begin to take shape, mouths and skinny tentacles stretching out into the water, and suddenly little bodies everywhere have regrown. Surely you're shocked to hear this, either because of the Hydra's phenomenal regeneration power, or the fact that scientists are willing to put tiny innocent beings into a blender. Rule of thumb, it's not sadism if it's in the name of science, we all know that. Okay, but seriously, what do they do to regenerate themselves? According to a scientific paper published by a scientist from the University of California, Hydras don't have brains. Instead of a brain, their heads hold stem cells that continuously send signals to other cells to tell them what to do. So, in order to survive, Hydras need to at least keep intact a small portion of their heads. Even when pureed, these animals only need 5 to 20 of those cells to command other cells to reassemble, creating a mass that regains its form in less than 4 days. Hydras even could potentially create other bodies if enough stem cells are still intact. Lobsters. Instead of aging, grow slower, gradually lose strength and vitality just to finally go to Florida and retire, lobsters get stronger each year. As a matter of fact, they benefit from the automatic and infinite duplication of their organic tissue. This results in lobsters being bigger, more fertile, and therefore more powerful. It would be easy then to imagine a 900-year-old lobster, weighing tons, living in the mysterious depths of the sea, plotting an evil plan to eradicate all of humanity. The naked mole rat. Inhabitants of Africa's Horn, naked mole rats are completely devoid of fur. Another interesting trait, despite being nightmarishly ugly, is that they're almost completely blind. Nonetheless, these animals allow teams of scientists to study the fascinating biology of a species that is out of the norm. Several studies were made to determine their genome sequence. Continuous research on this creature may bring light on the mechanisms that make naked mole rats benefit from an extreme aging resistance. No bigger than a mouse, naked mole rats present an incredible longevity, a trait which is quite uncommon in such small mammals. Naked mole rats, which are mouse-sized, live 10 times more than their close cousins, due to their ability to live cancer-free lives, something that could lead us to live longer lives. The immortal jellyfish. It starts its life as polyp. This cross between a sea worm and sea anemone, before detaching itself from the oceanic floor, reaches the state of a long tentacle-bearing jellyfish, in which it lives its small life being perpetually carried away by sea currents. Then, a day comes when it's hit by age, and boom, it starts to revert back to its juvenile state, that is, a polyp. Then, the story repeats itself. This form of biological immortality disturbs and fascinates scientists at the same time, and with good reason. Discovered in 1988, this strange jellyfish has just begun to lend its secrets circa 1996. Capable of transdifferentiation, its cells can rejuvenate so it can go back to its primitive state. Nonetheless, we still don't fully know the secrets behind this jellyfish's eternal youth as of now. For example, scientists still don't understand what kick starts the reverting process, which in turn doesn't seem automatically triggered. This means that we're not anywhere near the day in which man learns to stop its cells naturally aging, but who knows, maybe it's not guaranteed to be a good thing either. We hope that you were fascinated as us by these extraordinary animals. Which one of them impressed you the most? Share it with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and share this video, and to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos. See you soon.